Hey, good afternoon now, y'all. Hope everybody's having a good day. Hope everybody's had a great weekend. It's been kind of frantic slash hectic here, trying to get some yard work done and everything. And let's see, somebody was asking a little earlier. Um, yeah, Les Clemens was asking, is it spring yet? Yeah, I've already had to mow twice this year so far. So spring has sprung, the flowers has res, etc., etc. So yeah, it's going. A little bit of see, Dave says I am out of focus. Well, that could be me, that could be the camera, that could be any number of things. On that note, let's see if that's any better now that it had a chance to refocus here. Um, Camera lens is messed up. I don't know how. I actually cleaned it and double checked it because I had somebody email me, a friend of the broadcast, Sargon Tavor. Um, wow, I don't know what's going on. I'm looking at it right here, and I should be at a good 1080p, or excuse me, 720p. And that's because the broadcast software I use, StreamYard, is the the plan that I'm on is the basic plan, and it limits me to 720p. And so I can't broadcast in 1080p. For what I do here live, I don't really need 1080p, but 720p should be nice and clear. Now, let me double check, triple check here, looking at my settings and make sure that I am broadcasting in 720p. Because if not, then we have an issue. And I'm trying to get to it to see what's going on. Now, YouTube automatically sets everything for me, and sometimes they have been known to mess up. So, trying to bring up my settings and get everything set up here and see what's going on. See how blurry and goofed up I am. Oh man, that's way pixelized. I'm seeing it now. Holy cow. What is going on with that? That's okay. It's saying auto 480p. Why is this broadcasting 480p? That is just absolutely not right. Um, Settings, camera, and advanced options. I should be in. Oh man, here's the issue. Okay, let's see if this does it. Let's see if this is any better. Um, let's see if that's any better now. Yeah. Dave is on his big screen out there, uh, 50-inch. And okay, I just changed it to 720. So you'll probably have to click the gear and see quality 720p. No, that is, man, that is rotten. I don't understand what's going on with that. That is really bad. Because everything looks good on my end. All my settings are correct. Everything should be going. Whoops. Now I just turned off the cam. That's the wrong button. Not that button marked. Okay. Let's see. Make sure I've got everything correct here. I've got everything correct here. Camera resolution, high def. Yes. And all should be good. Let me go back over here to YouTube. And let's see here. Let me refresh the YouTube screen. Russell, I don't think it has anything to do with focus. I think it's 100% resolution here. And I sure picked a great time to check this out. Now, that's still pixelized like crazy. And okay, well, it might be this desktop computer then. Wow, that is rotten. That is really a rotten resolution. Well, I apologize for this. IL Pillig says, in my opinion, it's not the camera setting, but an upload issue. That could very well be the case. That could very well be the case. Now, like I said, I've retired the laptop. I've switched over to this desktop, and it's not a very high-end desktop at all. But I do have some, I have more RAM coming, just not here yet. Of course, that doesn't help right now. So Dave says, well, on a lighter note, the audio is good. Yeah, it's nothing to do with the camera there, Les. It's 100% upload. It's not dirty rag or anything else. Jeff is asking, it was fine last week. Any changes? No. The only change from last week is, you know, just a.
It's still freezing up on you.
Okay. Let's see. Sorry, my wife just brought me out the laptop. And, I can't change computers now. It's way too late. Broadcast. I mean, I don't know what else to do. Sorry about that. Wow. This is mystifying me. I may have to, man, we may just have to live with this. I will do a test stream a little bit later on. As I say, I've got RAM chips on their way, but obviously they won't be here today. So let's see. I'm going to leave this up to you folks. If, man, I don't know, maybe I should try refreshing the StreamYard page. I have it open on the other on the other computer. You know what? Let me know in the chat if you want to go ahead and end this and try it a bit later on, or just say, we messed up and or I messed up, and call this good for the week. I do have a couple of questions, but I mean, if you've got rotten, if you can't see, then there's no sense in carrying on. Man. Yeah. Let's see. Bob Frail says where did you go, Bob? Graphics are clear. Try streaming your Vectric app to see if that's clear. Hey, good idea. Let me go ahead and try that. We'll get over here and we'll see if that's coming in worth a ding dong. And I don't know. It could be anything here. I don't know. Can you see the screen at all? I've got the pirate up. I'm looking over here at the YouTube side to see it. Man, there's a long lag. Okay, I don't know if that's worth a ding dong or not. Let me see. Yeah, well, you can kind of see it. That's not too awful bad. Okay, that's crisp. Okay, all right. Well, then we'll continue this way, I guess. Okay, well, I apologize. I will see what's going on here in the background. So do not be surprised if you see a test live stream come up a little bit later on, because I'm going to have to get in and figure out what's going on. So we'll just go from here. So okay, Jim Senecola says your screen was clear when you had Vectric up. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it up. And I apologize for that. That's craziness. I don't know. As I started to say before I got distracted and sidetracked, a friend of the live stream, Sargon Tavor down in Orange County, he got a hold of me by email Tuesday, I want to say it was, and said that the resolution looked a little low, and offered to send me one of his 1080p cameras that he has just an extra. And I let him know the same thing I'm saying to you right now, which I've mentioned before. It's got nothing to do with the camera. This is a 1080p camera. But the plan that I'm with on StreamYard only lets me broadcast in 720p. And for the price they want to go up to the next level, to me, it's just not worth it for just 1080p on the live stream, because there's no real benefit to 1080p for what I'm doing. And then today happens. So I've been hesitant to upgrade to the next level up for 1080p. So the camera itself wasn't the problem. It is that I'm limited to 720p. And that's, again, totally by choice. Now, with this that came up, hopefully the additional RAM that I'm going to install in this computer will help out. And if it doesn't, then we may end up going back to the weak and squeaky laptop, and I'll just retire this desktop. So, hey, we'll figure it out as we go. But I'll play with it and tweak it on my end here. But don't be surprised if you see another test live stream come on later on. But again, speak of the devil, there he is, Sargon, the man, the myth, the legend. Thank you. I received your package yesterday. Something else he did that is going to help out with the quality of video that I'm doing out here is he had an old GoPro Hero 3 that he says he's not using anymore, and he sent that to me. I got it, Sargon, got it last night. It works beautifully. I played around with it a little bit in the house. Now I'm going to mount that on the CNC itself, and there'll be some better action shots, shall we say, coming from the CNC router. Thank you immensely. It just, the generosity of you guys is overwhelming. And yes, it's a GoPro 3, but for what I do, it's perfect. I mean, it's wow. Thanks is all I can say. Oh my gosh. And it works perfect. It's neat little camera. I didn't realize how badly I needed one until you sent that. So thank you. Let's see. Back into what we're doing out here. I finally got the resin to be able to do the pirate. Speaking of the pirate here, and we finally got everything. And if you want to see, of course, you can't see now, look at the little bitty tiny screen. If you want to see what $150 worth of a mana bit looks like, there it is right there. And that is the RC2255, as they call it, 3-wing heavy-duty spoil board surfacing, planing, and slab leveling bit. If you want to see what that looks like, there it is right there. And I mean, this puppy is a monster. 1/2-inch shank. And I got this in preparation for doing the pirate. So now I can mount the piece of leopard wood to the table and do a surfacing pass to get that all nice and flat. Then I can start V-carving. So next week's video will not be the pirate. Next week's video will be the CNC process for the absolute beginner. And that's going to do the be the companion piece to the article that I wrote a few years back that I should have done. So those of you who have been using the CNC for more than 15 minutes, it will probably, you'll probably not even need to look at it. This is more for the people who are just thinking about getting a CNC. About the magic and the mystery of the hobby we are all, involved in, and maybe with a few little pointers on what to look for when you're thinking about buying one before you spend the first penny. So that'll be next week. And basically just to get it out of the way, get it behind me. And there's been some problems with my website, so I'm having to rebuild it. The website works now. You can go to Mark Lindsay CNC and just do everything that you've always do. Go to the shop, check for merch, see free CNC files, all that other good stuff. That all still up and works. But behind the scenes, I'm rebuilding it. And I'm always going to be changing things on this website because I've never been one for, blog posts. And what I was doing in the past was I was recording an episode of the Absolute Beginner series, then write a accompanying website article, but was basically just typing out everything that I was saying in the video. So I'm no longer going to be doing that. I'm just going to be changing the focus of the website, and more on that later. So that's what's going on behind the scenes here. Let's get to the questions that we had before this whole thing went haywire. Let's see. John Thompson says, trying to install a touch plate on Mach 3 using the Guru Brew script, I get an error message. Also tried another guy's script and get an error message. Any help? It depends on what the error message is, John. Some routers are grounded already, and you don't need that ground strap. Yeah, the ground pin with the, the alligator clip or what have you. And that can throw up an error message. Sometimes, if you have a ground loop that's running to the same ground that your touch plate is grounding to, that can throw up error messages. It just depends on the error message. It could be something, it could be formatting within the script. There may be something you copied the script but missed a character, so it's reading part of a comment as an instruction because a bracket is missing or something like that. There are so many variables without knowing what the error message is, it's almost impossible to track down. But something that I have learned over time is always check the mechanical first and make sure that all the connections are made and the connections are made properly. If you're using shielded cables, for instance, only one end of the shielding should be connected to ground. The other end should float. That shielding is there to intercept electronic interference. Okay, John says the light comes on when I touch the plate to the bit. Well, it's supposed to. That's to let you know that it's working, that it's completing the circuit. So it is supposed to. But if you're getting some sort of an error message, then that needs to be cleared. So yeah, that LED that comes on when you touch the plate to the bit is to let you know that you're getting connectivity. So, okay. Yeah, so without knowing exactly what that error message is, it's hard to track down. So let's see here now. Percy Kuka says, if I'm charging $1 per millimeter square foot for cutting MDF, do I stick to the same method for harder woods or plastics? Well, your market's going to decide that. If you have found a good machine rate, an hourly rate that works for you, then I would stick with it personally. Now, obviously, the material cost is going to be higher than it would be for MDF. And you are probably going to have more time invested in cutting in hardwood or plastics because speeds are going to be a little bit different. But as far as the rate per square foot, that's totally up to you. Your market is going to be a bigger decider than whatever kind of a rate you think you would like to charge. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. If there are people in your market who are doing good sales at $1 per square millimeter, like you're saying, and you come up and you try to charge 2, you're not going to be as competitive as if you charge the same. That's not to say you're not worth it. It's just know your clientele and know your market and be competitive if you're out to compete for the clientele that they're getting. If you are looking for a higher end client, then charge more. That's going to weed out the people who are looking for a cheap price. I mean, you're the best at that. So just kind of do a little bit of market analysis and see where you sit versus where you want to sit. So, that's about the best I can say. Not knowing anything about your market and where you're located and what kind of client you have versus what kind of client. There are also various prices. I mean, I give friends and family a different price. I have what I call my I don't want to do it price, which basically, if I don't want to do it, I'll throw a number out there so crazy they're going to say no. But if they decide they have to have it, then okay, fine. I'm willing to do it for my I don't want to do it price. Now, Russell Faraday makes a good point. He says, I charge double for MDF because the dust is just nasty. Yes. Wood makes mostly chips and very little dust. And that's an excellent point. So, it's I don't know. It's a balancing act with your market. I'd hate like heck to give you a answer that totally prices you completely out of the market. You know what I mean? So, and that's why I don't generally get into pricing or how to price a project. I find that I will ask people what their budget is. Because let's say somebody's budget is $150. I know what I can do for $150. And I find also that if I ask them what their budget is, people are willing to spend more than you think they would be. Not always, but often enough to where it does make a difference, So let's see here. I hope that helps, Percy. And I know that was a long-winded rant, but what can I say? Let's see. John says he has a epoxy question for all. I'm using West Epoxy. The hardener turned amber. West says that is normal, but it's creating problems with colors, i.e. red becomes maroon. What do others use? The fact that West Systems says that's normal is slightly troubling to me. Now, I have very, very limited experience with epoxy, and the epoxies that I have used so far, nothing has turned yellow before I mixed it and poured it. Wow. Do know that all epoxies have a shelf life. So, and they should be stored indoors in a climate controlled area because they do need a certain temperature range. If turning amber is normal, wow, that troubles me. Let me get back over here and see if anybody else has got any input on this, and I'm seeing a few people that do. Let's see. Yeah, Wes says that amber is not unusual and does not affect the curing. I'm looking at other brands now. I heard Total Boat is clear. I've heard some good things. Brooks is saying he uses Epoxy. I've heard good things about Epoxy. I've heard good things about Total Boat, but I've also heard good things about West Systems. Shane, he uses several different brands, but he does keep going back to West Systems. So now Russell Faraday comes in and says, used epoxy for boat building for about 30 years. Hardener goes amber, never affected the curing, and color was never an issue. So my question, John, would be, are you noticing that color difference after the cure? Is that color difference staying there, or is it just while the epoxy is still liquid? I don't know. I don't know if that makes a difference. So let's see. Okay, John Thompson got back. He says the error says syntax error. Okay, that is an error within the script that you're pasting now. Make sure what I do when I'm doing a script is I don't just copy and paste online. I download that text file, open it up in Notepad, Control A to select all, Control C to copy. Then I paste. I go into the window. I don't have Mach 3 on this computer, or I would show you. I go into that macro where I'm going to store that. And even if you don't see any characters in that screen, Control A to select all, and then delete to delete anything, even a space that may be in that window, because spaces are characters. So I just Control A and hit delete and delete everything within that window. Then I'll Control V and paste as I copied, everything in there, then save it. And you shouldn't get a syntax error after that. But if there's a space at the top and then your script starts, that can throw a syntax error. Not all the time, but it can. So let's and everything. I say again, everything is a character to the computer. Okay, John says the color stays the same after curing. Yeah. Again, I see up above where you said you ordered the epoxy from Rockler. Lord knows how long it was in the warehouse, and epoxies do have a shelf life. So I don't know. I don't know that I would settle for that. I might save that hardener for something that the color doesn't really matter. And just get some new hardener. But then again, it's not my money to spend. So RB Woodwork says his script might not be compatible with Mach 3 also. I know the script that he's trying to use from Guru Brew. I use the same one on Mach 3 and it works like a champ. So okay, John is saying the epoxy is a couple months old, kept indoors. First project, Ghostbuster, was good. Second project was when problem occurred. Lot number didn't indicate a date. Yeah. Generally speaking, the shelf life is about a year. But I know my luck. I'll get it after 10 months. That's my luck. I really don't have an answer for you. You might get a hold of West Systems again and ask if there's anything that you can do, because basically what you've got is a can of unusable hardener, unless it's for a project where color doesn't matter, and that's not a ringing endorsement for their product. So yeah, I wouldn't know where to go from there. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Brooks Martin wants to know, Mark, have you or anybody out there used Lightburn for their laser? I have not. I don't have a laser. I've heard nothing but good things about Lightburn for CO2 lasers. And even some of the diode lasers on some of the smaller dedicated diode laser machines, but and I don't know if they are I don't know if they will work on something like a JTech laser that you mount on your CNC. I really don't know anything about them. So I'm not a very good, I know that's not a good answer, but that's the best I can do right now. So from what I understand, though, they are more for like a K40 or a standalone CO2 laser, but I'm not sure if they work on a diode laser mounted on your CNC router. I've never heard of anybody using them for that. So okay, let's see. Dave Bonanni wants to know, can I skew individual text characters left, right, up, down on the same line, i.e. stretch at angles? Okay, you're talking about if you have a line of text that's, let's say, 4 letters, can you skew those letters individually? Yes, you can. And I showed that in my video on, but I don't remember which one. I did 2 or 3 videos on distorting objects. I don't remember off the top of my head if it was 2 or 3, but I will put a link to the playlist for the distort text videos down in the description of this video as soon as we're done live here. But basically over here, you're going to use the distort tool, distort objects tool, but you will have to convert the text to curves before you do that. And all of that is in this video series. You can distort individual objects, but you have to convert them to curves first. And then they're no longer text objects. So make sure you have all your kerning and everything done. Anything that you're going to do as a text object, make sure you have that done before you convert it to curves. And then after that, it's just like any other vector. So I will put a link to the distort tool in the down in the description of this video as soon as we're done here. Let's see. Dave says Lightburn is the best software for diode and CO2 lasers, hands down. Okay. I had never heard of anybody talking about Lightburn for the diode laser mounted on the CNC. For the little lasers like the one you have, Dave, I have heard that that works great, but I didn't know if Lightburn would control the CNC router to move the laser or not. And because I've never used it. So, okay, let's see. Okay, I'm noticing things here. There's a little bit of lag in this desktop, so I think part of my problem is going to be RAM on this desktop computer. And so when I get these RAM chips in and installed, that'll help out quite a bit. Because for instance, I go over here to the Vectric side and I clicked on that distort object. There's a little bit of a delay there, and that normally wouldn't be. If I go over here to draw a curve, see how long that's taking to come up. I mean, that shouldn't take that long. Yeah, it's so yeah. All right, I need to add the RAM to this computer. Okay. Well, let's see here. Dwayne Ruthig wants to know rotary axis question. New install. Jog and rounding work fine. Toolpath cutting threads slows to 9 minutes per rotation. Wow. Thanks. F30 is 30 degrees. Any idea? VCarve Pro Mach 3. Okay. Yes. The thing to remember, and the hard part to remember, is that when it comes to rotary axis, you're no longer working in inches per minute. You're working in degrees. So when you're working, you have to set it up. You have to set it up with that in mind. Now, I did a video of Mach 3 settings, and I hope you're using Mach 3. I did a video on Mach 3 settings for my rotary axis, and I went through that process so that you are working in degrees instead of inches. Now, in VCarve, you'll still use inches, but Mach 3 will know to convert that to degrees. So let's see, Rotary Mach 3, all Rotary settings. I know you can hear me writing. I'm scribbling down a note to post a link to that video down in the description of this video as soon as we're done live here. It basically Mach 3 no longer uses inches per minute. It uses degrees. And that makes a huge difference because you would have to speed up the inches per minute in VCarve to something crazy like 2000 in order to get it to turn, you're asking now, is it a post processor problem? Are you using the Mach 3? What is it called? Let me get over here into the toolpath tab and save toolpath. It should be, let's see, the post processor for Mach 3 should be Mach 2-3 wrap either X or Y, depending upon what you're doing, to ATC. That's the post processor I use because my rotary is set across the table, parallel with the X axis. So it's wrapping the Y around the axis. So if that's the post processor you're using, that should be correct. Okay. And you have, you say you have the B axis set as angular, and you've watched my video and Dave's videos. Again, are you okay? You have it set for angular. Again, did you do that compensation for degrees versus inches? So I don't know. But 9 minutes per rotation, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So let's see here. Okay, I think I'm caught up with the questions. Do we have any more? This is kind of a crummy episode just simply because of the issues I've been having with this. Oh, now it finally decided to go into draw. Man, yeah, this poor computer. All right, I'm gonna have to do some work on this puppy. As soon as I get these RAM chips, I'll be back and we'll see what happens with that. But I'm going to get into my settings here and do a test live stream a little bit later on. Okay, are there any other questions that's that I can try to help with? This has really been a rotten live stream. Man. Okay, well, I think I can talk a little bit about what's coming up next. Dave has a good question here. Are you plugging the project radius in Mach 3? That's another point I forgot it completely about. I don't use my rotary axis as often as I thought I would. So, see, Peter Van Vliet is asking, do you have a painting preference for VCarve projects? Brush, spray, airbrush, etc. All of the above. The project will dictate. 99 times out of 100, I will use a brush, mainly because when I have painted V carvings, they've been fairly small. There are a couple of exceptions, but you have to be the one to make that decision simply because it's kind of like when I use the airless to paint the inside of my shop. The painting itself, and I know this because I set up the camera and recorded, The painting itself, to paint the entire inside of this shop, took 16 minutes. But then it took 45 minutes to clean that sprayer. So if it's going to take, a half hour to clean a gun or an airbrush for 2 to 3 minutes of spraying, is it really worth it? Having said that, I haven't brought it up on the channel yet. I have something that I'm going to show a little bit later on. It's a little sprayer called a Critter. This is not a high-end spray gun, but it's a siphon feed spray gun that does an absolutely excellent job. I was really impressed. And it's a $40 spray gun. It uses a home canning jar. You can mix up your paint, your finish, whatever, in that jar, spray it, take that jar off, put a cap on it, put it up on a shelf and save it for next time. Then to clean the gun, because it's siphon feed, there's no needles or anything else you got to go through. You put the thinner for whatever you're spraying. In the case of acrylic paint, you fill up another jar full of water, spray it for about 30 seconds, and it's clean. That's it. It's done. If you're using something like a polyurethane, you put whatever thinner you use, mineral spirits or whatever, into the gun, spray it for about 30 seconds into a garbage can. It's done. I mean, nothing could be simpler. I was very impressed with the quality of the finish that thing provides. And I'll be doing some videos where I feature that and put links and what have you. In fact, I'll go ahead and put a link to the Critter down in the description of this video here. You can check it out for yourself. It looks like a rinky-dink little thing, but it's actually a very, very good sprayer. Would I paint a car with it? No. Would I paint fine furniture with it? You know what I mean by paint, a top coat, spray lacquer or something like that? Maybe, because generally speaking, there's going to be some wet sanding and polishing. Would I finish a guitar with it? Maybe. I would check it out. Yeah, I would try it. But it's called a Critter. There are two versions. One is no, I'm thinking of something else. I take that back. Never mind. I was really impressed, and for $40, price is right. So, okay, let's see here. See, Dave asked Dwayne, "Are you plugging the project radius into Mach 3?" Yeah, that's a major thing. I forgot all about that, and if you're not, that could be part of your issue. It doesn't know how big it needs to go, so it can't convert to it can't convert to degrees from the inches per minute. Yeah, but 9 minutes, that's crazy. Even then, I don't know. Well, anyway, so yeah, see if that helps. I mean, it couldn't hurt. All right. Well, this has been kind of, yeah, I'm seeing RB is saying the video is freezing at times. And Robert Dymock says, check your video card if it's an older model. It's about 3 years old. It's integrated graphics. It doesn't have a separate video card. I just may be asking too much of this poor thing. I haven't done a speed test. It's one of the things I'm going to do behind the scenes when I get finished live here is I'm going to do a speed test and see what my upload speed is. I mean, it could be something simple and stupid as the Ethernet cable that I'm using for this thing is messed up, or, something like that. In fact, I'll try swapping out the Ethernet cable and seeing if that's it. But other than that, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this good. I do again apologize for the crummy video, and I will get that sorted. Again, I don't think it's the camera. I think it's a connection issue or a setting issue, one of the two. And hopefully I'll get that all straightened out by next week. So, but do not be surprised to see a test stream pop up here and there. But I'll get her figured out. Okay, so to refresh my memory, I'm going to post links to the Distort Objects video series, the rotary settings for Mach 3, and a link to the Critter Sprayer. I see Dave Bonani comes along and says Critter was good for spraying lattices on deck and fence with stain. I'll be honest with you, Dave. I cheated when it comes to spraying lattices and fences and stuff like that. I use a pump sprayer, like a garden sprayer. Just make sure you get a fan tip. Works great. Works excellent. Bill Stoffer says more front lighting, please. It's what that is my itty bitty ring light, and I just haven't gone down to get a bigger ring light. But yes, I agree. I do need more front lighting. Yeah, big time, and I will be taking care of that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and end this and get these links posted in here, then work on my issues back here, and then try again. So until next week, I'll just say thank you very much to everybody who has used the super chats. Thank you, everybody who has hit those donation links down in the description. And thank you to everybody who's watching, who is sharing, and who is subscribing to the channel. You guys make this channel possible. You keep me going and allow me to get the tools and supplies needed to continue doing projects for the channel. Without y'all, I wouldn't be able to do it. So thank you again to Sargon. I really appreciate you more than you ever know, my friend. And I hope to see you at the Vectric user group meeting down in San Diego. I know it's not too far of a drive for you. I hope to see you there. So until next week, let me just say, y'all take care. Go outside. Go make some more chips. You got a little bit of time left. Do something cool. Catch you later. Thank you for your patience and thank you for everything else. Have a good one.